Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play 80 Days. As we left off last time, we finally made it to India, more specifically Madras, where we sold some wares, namely a pearl, and made ourselves yet more coin. That will come in handy in our trip around the world, of course, because it's a rather expensive affair. Right, we're ready to depart Madras and head straight down to, I believe this is Sri Lanka, more specifically to Colombo, on our quest to reach Singapore. So this is just a bit of a bit part stop off, really. Just a bit part stop off via the Colombonese airship. Right. So we can alter it. It says we depart for Colombo tomorrow before 7. No, we don't depart tomorrow, my friends. We depart now. Negotiation is required. And the Englishman's wardrobe should yield positive results. Cost us an extra 200 smackers. No problemo. Let's go. An airship awaits. So we're going to Colombo via airship. What trouble will Passport 2 get into today? We boarded a fast airship run by a British company that promised to reach Colombo within 2 hours. Wow, that is some epically fast work. Relations with Mr. Fogg have improved. We're getting the, we know that anything that improves the speed of our journeys, Mr. Fogg likes. Bear it in mind, Passport 2. Bear it in mind. Any time for some conversation? To my reprehensible valley. Let's have a bit of a chinwag about the journey. How will we cross the Pacific? Good question. There are many options, but which one we will choose will decide our route across the Americas. Money? We are very well funded. You have made some excellent decisions. Oh, he's happy with something at least. Very good. So we're doing well with the money. And we seem to be, I think, relatively on track. He hasn't mentioned it, but I do think we're on track as well. More importantly, though, we're visiting places that I would really like to visit in real life as well. So it's good fun, is this? I really enjoy this game. The airship was not as fast as advertised, of course, but not to any considerable degree. But of course they made up for it with some excellent tea. Oh. Whenever you're down, whenever you're angry with something, whenever something isn't going your way, there's one surefire way to make things seem 1,000 times better. And that's a good cup of tea. I mean, I know Passport 2 is French, but, well, being in Mr. Fogg's company, he's probably grown not quite as much appreciation as he does for wine, but tea, not far off. Oh, and scones to boot. Lovely. Relations with Mr. Fogg have improved. Okay, here we are in Colombo. Market. See what... Ooh, our very own Darjeeling. Okay. Oh, valuable in Manila, Singapore and Hong Kong. We're off to Singapore. And we're off to Manila. A zeotrope. Trouble is, how many suitcases can we take? We've got to find that out before we buy anything else. So let's plan the route before we do anything else. So Singapore arrives Tuesday. Only 3 cases. The tea clipper. A lot of tea talk. We could actually bring it forward and go the same day. Is there anything in Colombo that we need? Not really. It was just a stop off. A bit part stop off. You know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. No charge in 2 days. No charge tomorrow. No charge for an Englishman. So tomorrow at 12 noon we depart for Singapore. Oh, it's going to be fun. Right. Explore. That's all we can do. New routes. The harbour at Colombo, capital city of British Ceylon, was so busy with trading ships that the water was barely visible, and the sky was crisscrossed with glinting metal chains tethering airships to the dock. A young Senegalese man in an ill-fitting jacket looked over the scene with an expression of unbridled longing. I felt a rush of fellow feeling. I had seen so many wonders which far eclipsed this scene, but the purity of his joy touched me. I looked up at the bright-painted airships suspended in the stippled Ceylonese sky and saw them through his eyes. A miracle. He turned towards me, perhaps sensing my gaze. "Excuse me, sir," he asked in the tones of the educated middle class. "Are you an aeronaut?" I just always tell the truth. "I am a valet, monsieur," I said, in aggrieved tones. "Can you not tell from my paltry garments, and the fact that I have no shoes on because they were stolen from me?" He reddened in embarrassment and mumbled some apology. I want to join an airship crew. I want to fly." "And why do you want to fly?" I asked, curious. "Why do you not want to fly? To me, that is the oddity," he fired back, showing some spirit. "I want to make my fortune in the skies, to live a life of adventure. I want to learn new languages and eat strange fruits, dip my toes in the seas of distant lands." All of which we have probably done, travelling around the world. I thought he would probably end up dead. He was a foolish young boy, ignorant of the dangers of such a life. I looked at his slight frame and knew that he was ill-fitted for the rough-and-tumble life of an airship crewman. One glance from a hardened pirate, and the boy would cry for his mamma. I followed his gaze. We're not going to shoot his dream down in flames. It would be unfair of us to do so. I do not know what you should do, but I have some small insights from my own experiences, I told him. There will be many dangers and risks in the life you seek. You are young and callow, and the world is unkind. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. "Thank you for your advice, sir. I will think on it." I left him there and walked back along the harbour, through the thriving city that sprawled out in the shadow of the fort. It was kind of him to say he would consider my words, but knowing the arrogance of youth, I doubt it was the truth. Right, an overnight stop then it is, here in Colombo. A charming suite in the Grand Oriental Hotel, opposite the Victoria Arcade. The clattering of the electric trams ran late into the night, mixing with the lowing of the oxen, drawing the poorer people's carts across the cobbled streets. Okay, time to jet across. 400 coin. Arrive Sunday. It's a long journey to Singapore. Rough skies. Wow, it's going to be a massive dint to Monsieur Fogg's health. Right, off we go on the Tea Clipper. We boarded a sleek tea clipper with a bright red envelope and roaring twin engines. "Is your ship fast?" I asked the captain, a lean, dark-eyed Chinese man in the last flush of youth. "I go to join my wife in Singapore," the captain confessed. "So you can be assured I will try to make good time." So saying, he flung the ship up into the air. News. Another victim of the Madras head smasher found dead. Holy cow. Oh my God, thank God we left there quick. Wait a minute. Was it in Madras that we got hit over the head by a nun? Surely not. I found myself standing beside the cheerful young captain. "Are you newly married?" I asked. Something or other? Perspicaciously? Perspicaciously? What the hell does that mean? He gave a little groan. "Oh, is it so easy to tell? My crew must be laughing up their sleeves to me. But honestly," he grinned, "I don't care." "How did you meet her?" "My parents introduced us," he explained, as though stating the obvious. "Our marriage was arranged by our families in the proper way. Finding myself in love with her is an unexpected pleasure, though I suppose it is not strictly dutiful." I thought much on the Captain Go's attitude and situation, but came to few conclusions that night aboard the airship. Well, we're going to be on this for a little while yet. Tend to Mr. Fogg a little bit. His health is suffering due to this long journey. A shaped moustache. Excellent. There were rumblings of discontent aboard the ship, centred upon the figure of First Mate Ranuga, a dark-skinned, towering Sinhalese woman. And us being curious, inquired subtly. Oh my god, sorry, knocked the damn desk over almost. I inquired subtly into her grudge over lunch. "This is our last voyage," she replied darkly. "The captain's selling the ship and joining his wife's business." "Oh, they just seem to be happily married." She cut me a disbelieving glance. "There are plenty of married captains who don't give up the sky." We stared at our unappetizing stew as the crew grumbled. "Are you married?" I asked. First Mate Ranuga nodded and pointed to a Malay man with dark, wavy hair. "That's my husband." She nodded at two of the younger midshipwomen. "Those are my daughters. This ship's a family, and now we're all going to be scattered apart because the captain's family wants to go up in the world and he's besotted." Oh dear. We could try and speak with him, but what is it our business? No, let's not get involved. Oh, should we get involved? Oh God. Let's not get involved. "I'm sorry," I told her, able to think of no better solution to her predicament. "We're all going to be sorry." She grimaced into her stew. "Just wait and see. Look, he's a married man, going to live with his wife. Yes, fair enough, these poor people will lose their captain, but they may get another captain. Somebody else might buy the ship. We can't interfere in love's young dream." Fog sighted on fine form. And now we are exactly 40 days into our trip. The halfway point has been reached, and are we halfway around the world? I think roughly there, roughly. The first sign of trouble was when the lights began to flicker. The gas lamps sputtered out just before the secondary engine cut out, leaving the airship in darkness and silence. Groping my way to the bridge to find out what's going on, or huddled in my bed and prayed. I don't think it would be a wise move to go and grope your way to the bridge, so we stayed and huddled in bed. With the covers over my head to obscure me from a casual search. Alas, the search made by the mutinying crew was most thorough. Ah, there's a mutiny. I see. The covers were flung back, and I was blinded by the lantern light shone into my face. I was unceremoniously seized and dragged to the floor of the bridge, where First Mate Ranuga held her pistol to Captain Go's. Oh my God, if we'd offered to speak to the captain, could we have avoided this? Oh my God. Mr. Fogg was tossed beside me soon after. We need to talk her down here. Is this your solution, First Mate? I asked despairingly. We don't want to be sold off to the highest bidder. She turned to the captain. We have worked alongside you for 10 years. We gave you our loyalty, our blood, and you cast us aside for some land-grubbing woman? Oh, we can't say that to her. Oh, God, this is mutiny, I shouted, trying to shock her out of course. First Mate Renuga's lip curled. And what about a captain abandoning ship? He sold us a wedding present. Don't we deserve more? Oh, dear. Perhaps you do. Just appeal to her to kind of... Yeah, run your side. Yes, perhaps you do, I nodded, seeing the frustration on the crew's faces. It is unfair, I agree. This ship is my home, First Mate Renuga breathed, as the crew stamped its feet and shouted their agreement. I cannot let her go, even if the captain can. Something seemed to break in Captain Go's expression. He leapt upon his first mate with sudden, startling ferocity, and they began to grapple for the... Oh, my God, no! Oh, my God! We tried to stop him! Stop him! The pistol jerked and the bullet punched a hole through the outer hull above us. I heard a shrill whistle of air before we were knocked to the floor by the sound of an almighty explosion. I looked up, and half the top deck was sheared away and swinging free, and the entire envelope had ignited into a glowing, writhing ball of fire. Wind whipped past us. We rolled and tumbled in the air. We were falling uncontrollably. And then we hit the water, and I slipped into glorious, terror-free unconsciousness. Oh my God, this is not game over, surely. Sinking T Clipper. Oh my God, what on earth has happened here? Oh, I imagine that journey could have probably gone better with some other choices, but oh my gosh, I awoke and had not drowned, which was more than I expected. My head was upon Monsieur Fogg's lap. The emergency protocols have activated and we have been sealed into the bridge, he informed me in lieu of a greeting. I tried to sit up, and Monsieur Fogg pushed me unceremoniously back down. I felt relatively well considering this whole accursed journey of ours. You cracked your skull, my master declared. This is not the first time you have awoken. Every time you sit up, I explain matters, and then you swoon once more. Are you unharmed, monsieur? You have not asked that before, my master smiled. But are you? I am somewhat injured, my master said serenely, and then coughed an enormous amount of thick, oozing warm blood onto my chest. I tried to sit up, only for Monsieur Fogg to slump heavily against me. His brow felt clammy and fevered. We have a much larger problem than our injuries, Passepartout. His voice was uncharacteristically raspy. What is that? I asked, fearful of an answer. In response, Mr. Fogg tipped my head up a little. I saw the heavy glass windows of the bridge. Instead of pale blue sky and clouds, I saw only dark water, pitted by air bubbles rushing away. We are sinking, Monsieur Fogg continued, regaining some of his composure. And Captain Go, the hell, informs me we have only a day's worth of air at most. Go away! I don't know if you can actually see that on the recording, but I'm getting a load of messages regarding a restart to my antivirus. Rather irksome. So then we will die here? I saw Monsieur Fogg almost smile in the murky darkness. It seems a distinct possibility. We sat together in the dark for an hour or more, without saying another word. I heard the captain and first mate working together, tending to the injured crew, whispering encouragement and lighting our dwindling stock of candles to give the illusion of warmth despite the deepening fear and bone-chilling cold of the ocean, which promised little mercy. I confess, I did not account for this possibility, he said into the dark. Not all risks can be calculated, I said thoughtfully. I drew in my breath. And then let it go. There was nothing more further to be said. The important thing is only to calculate the average risk, my master murmured. The average transcends the particular risks and is constant. It is what some call the law of averages, but it is true. The aim is the theory of the central limit. Constancy is the soul of whist, Passepartout. Another long silence, but a softer one. I felt the pain in my head pound at my temples and then recede like waves on the shore. My master coughed up more blood, and we all shivered as the last candle blew out. Someone wept, but I did not. "Why did you take the wager, monsieur?" I asked. I do not think I expected him to answer. "I thought I knew," he said faintly. "But now I am not certain." And later, much later, after the hull began to shriek and as the air grew thin, I heard my master say, "Perhaps, given our circumstances, you should call me Phileas," before I fell into an uneasy, delirious sleep. A series of dull shudders went through the remains of the airship, and Captain Go staggered to his feet. "It's been an honour serving with you," he said, his voice admirably steady. "Nini, sir, will you forgive me?" First Mate Renuga stood up, her eyes glittering. "Only if you will forgive me in turn, Captain." I sat next to Monsieur Fogg, who had tried and failed to stagger up. He was clutching his ribs and breathing hard. The ship jerked, but instead of cracking open like an oyster shell, it began to rise up in the water. Faster and faster we rose, schools of fish and debris flashing darkly beyond the window. Faster and faster until we broke the surface, and the sun blinded us with its sweet yellow light, casting shadows away with its brilliance. I could not think of anything to say, but... Am I delirious, monsieur? My hands threw themselves over my eyes to shield the glare. "No," my master said coolly. "You are rescued, look." I followed his indication and looked up. Indeed, in the sky hung a colossal airship. Thick steel cables were attached to our vessel, and we were slowly winched out of the water. A bulkhead door swung open on that ship, and a woman in a welder's mask and armoured suit stood limed in light. "Hello down there!" she called loudly, as Captain Go gasped. "Have you seen my husband?" "Oh, well, Captain Go's husband. Madame Go's airship. Mr. Fogg needs some help, man. He's close to death's door. We need to do something here." Madame Go, the banker, proved to be an excellent rescuer. She retrieved our bags, provided us with vast quantities of stew, and had thought to bring a team of doctors. Captain Go trailed around behind her, looking, if possible, even more love-struck than before. I looked in on First Mate Renuga, who was recovering nicely in one of the hastily set-up medical bays. "The captain's not going to sell the ship," she told me excitedly, "and all I needed to do was to try to shoot him." Monsieur Fogg, with bandaged ribs and a pair of impressive black eyes, was on his feet, much against the doctor's orders. "Well, there's no point of telling him what to do. He'll probably not do it anyway, so... would you like to go for a walk?" I asked, sensing his restlessness behind the facade. "Passepartout," he said, and then trailed off most uncharacteristically. I said nothing. "Thank you," he said briskly, and then opened up his ledger. "Now, leave me in peace till we reach Singapore. From here on," his eyes flashed, "I am going to ensure I cover all of the possibilities." Oh dear. So we're still alive! I don't know if it is actually possible to die in this game through your wrong choices, but Anywho, ding dong ding, day 44, we're in Singapore. Holy mackerel. Right, first thing we're going to hit the market now. Something sold in, oh, it's the, this, sells in Manila. Right. Oh, goodbye turmeric. 10,000 gold. That'll make up for almost dying. Right, we've got a tin sheet worth money in Yokohama. We're not going to Yokohama, I don't think. Ginger tablets. Stubborn and sour and prim types. Scented Campbell. Heavy storm set. Do we have anything heavy storm set? No. I'll get it just in case we do encounter heavy storms. I mean, Manila, all those kind of places could be prone to storms, and Monsieur Fogg's health has declined somewhat, so we need any protection that we can afford. And we don't really need coin right now, so we'll leave that as it is. We'll explore Singapore in the morning, stay in a hotel, hopefully get some more health up. Singapore was a British colonial port peopled largely by Chinese, Malays and Indians, fueled by rubber exports and opium wealth pouring into the new banks. We walked along the harbour front. I mean, we've looked and stared death in the face. That kind of experience will probably lead to you being a bit more bold about things. You know what, if I stare death in the face, nothing from this point forward is going to frighten me. And spied brightly painted airships and well-rigged boats heading for distant ports. I inquired about vessels headed for... Oh, yeah, we know how to get to the Philippines, don't we? Manila. So let's have a look and see if we can get to Australia, perhaps. And the rubber merchant laughed bitterly in my face. We have no business with them. Criminals and colonists. Why would any Singaporean go there? Yeah, well, I left this thoroughly unpleasant woman behind and moved on to ask instead about the Dutch-held city of Batavia. And a Chinese sailor pointed me in the direction of a sailboat which bore the rather insalubrious name Spicy Jake. I wouldn't go to Batavia even if you paid me a king's ransom, the sailor chuckled. And why is that? I heard the natives are fighting the Dutch colonists. I have a nose for bloodshed. The Chinese sailor shrugged. Then again, you rich people do whatever you want, so why am I bothering? Thank you for the warning, I said politely, not wanting to insist on my lack of wealth to a man wearing rough clothes upon a body bent with labour. The sailor jerked a nod and went back to his companions, leaving me to contemplate his advice upon the Singaporean dock. And our relations have improved with Mr. Fogg slightly. Perhaps our near-death experience together, there's a newfound mutual respect there. Who knows? By the end of this journey, the 80th day, we might be best buddies. Who would have thought it after the rather bad start we got off to? Stranger things have happened. Okay, so we're going from Singapore. Oh, there's Batavia down below us. Let's have a look at what time if we want to go to Manila, which we do, we're going to have to go via Batavia. Are we? Why can't we go directly to Manila? We know a line for it, don't we? Okay, we're going to have to explore and see if we can open up a route here. I think we might have to go to Batavia first and then go from Batavia to Manila, possibly. Right, anyway, we're going to leave the session here. We are in Singapore. We can go to Batavia. We can't get to Manila. So I think we'll go to Batavia and chance our arm. But until then, thank God we're still alive. See you soon.